We had an agreement with the Democrats, and I don't think
so
you
you're
can.
surprised by what he said when he came out and criticized?
You can't make an agreement one month and say, okay, we really didn't mean it, and come back the next month and say, oh, we really didn't mean our agreement.
So was his shock legitimate when he claimed that he was stunned by what was in there?
Well, he may have been, but he and his people were involved in the negotiation. They agreed to it, and he signed the bill.
Oh, no, he didn't. Yes, he did. That was Mitch McConnell finally responding and feeling a little bit affronted by the President of the United States. Remember that famous moment with the $1.3 trillion spending measure, saying that he was shocked by this and it was the last time he was going to do something like this. Again, to Mitch McConnell's memory here, he knew, or at least his people knew what was in that. And that rescinding it now or cutting a lot of it now, a little late for that. But some big guns have been talking to our Liz Claman about all of these developments, including on this one, the Treasury Secretary of the United States. Hey, Liz.
Hey, Neil, exactly. Rescinding, rescission, that new word we're all learning. Look, we have just come from the International Monetary Fund spring meetings here in Washington, D.C., where Treasury secretaries and finance ministers from all over the world come for the seasonal assessment. And the assessment of global trade and debt is this. Global debt is now worse than before the financial crisis, if you can imagine that. The number, $460 trillion. So in my exclusive one-on-one with Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin, I asked him about the U.S. piece of that pie, $21 trillion and growing. And considering the administration paired its $1.5 trillion tax cut with the aforementioned $1.3 trillion budget that the president signed, reluctantly but signed, I asked Mr. Mnuchin whether there's anything the administration can do, considering Senate Leader Mitch McConnell told you this week that he has no taste for that. A deal's a deal.
Having the president, having some mechanism that the president isn't just handed a giant take it or leave it deal is important. And we've talked about the line item veto. The line item veto doesn't work in its own construct, but there are other ways of making it work where the president can withhold certain spending, send it back to Congress for an up or down vote that has a similar impact that would be constitutional.
What would that mechanism be? We don't know. But as we watch the debt balloon and the deficit widen, $1 trillion by 2020, according to the Congressional Budget Office, IMF chief Christine Lagarde told me today broken and bruised trade deals aren't helping at all.
What I'm concerned about is that with talks about trade threats or trade threats implementation, we're going to dent what is such a precious good in economy, which is trust, which is the confidence that entrepreneurs, that decision makers have in a system that determines their supply chain, that determines their trading relationships, that determines the tariffs that they pay. If that happens, they're going to say, okay, let's delay our investment. We'll see how it goes. We don't need that now.
Christine Lagarde is very bullish on the U.S. economy. They have just raised their projection to 2.9% growth. But she says tariffs force price hikes and make consumers around the world poorer. 3 p.m. Eastern on the Claman Countdown. More with Christine Lagarde. Plus, Neil, a very interesting exchange I had with Treasury Secretary Mnuchin about just who decided to back down on those Russian sanctions that UN Ambassador Nikki Haley had promised would be announced Monday. And, of course, we saw they were not announced Monday, and now they are off the table for now.
Teasing me here. All right, Liz, thank you very, very much. Great job. Look forward to it.